Have you ever heard of a fortress so smart, so diabolically designed, that for centuries it was believed to be, well, completely unbeatable? Today, we're diving into the pure strategic genius of one of history's most incredible structures, India's Daulatabad fort. And look, that is not an exaggeration. This thing isn't just some castle with big walls. No, it's a multi-layered death trap engineered from the ground up to absolutely crush any army that was foolish enough to even try to attack it. Its reputation alone was a weapon. And right here, this is the secret to its brilliance. You see, the builders didn't just find a nice hill and stick a fort on top of it. Oh no. They took a massive 200-meter-high cone of solid rock and carved the fortress out of the hill itself. It's a masterclass in using the landscape as your primary weapon. Okay, so let's do this. Let's put ourselves in the shoes of an invading army. Our mission? Just get to the base of that hill. Sounds simple enough, right? Well, as we're about to find out, even that first step is a nightmare. Welcome to the attacker's gauntlet. First thing you run into is a massive moat. We're talking 40 feet deep. And it's not just a ditch filled with water. It was carved straight out of the bedrock. The only way across? A single, narrow, retractable bridge. If you're lucky enough to get across, you're immediately funneled into a deadly kill zone, trapped between layers of fortified gates. And you gotta remember, this is all happening before you've even gotten close to the main fort. All right, let's say you actually survived the outer defenses. Now you get to face the fort's most legendary and honestly, its most terrifying feature. This is where the real nightmare begins. It's a pitch-black labyrinth called the Andari, which, literally translates to the darkness. And its purpose was brutally simple, to psychologically shatter an army. To use an army's own numbers and strength against it, and then to just completely annihilate them in the dark. So the moment your soldiers charge into this winding rock tunnel, they are plunged into absolute total darkness. Torches are basically useless. The twisting passages were designed to just swallow the light and completely break an army's formation and discipline. And just when the confusion sets in, the defenders would seal the entrances. They'd light huge fires in hidden chambers, and through a series of vents, almost like chimneys, the entire labyrinth would start to fill with thick, choking smoke. Once you're in, there is no way back. You're trapped in the dark, you're choking, and any sense of military order just disintegrates. All that's left is pure, raw panic. And as the soldiers started to panic, that's when the real attack would begin. From hidden murder holes up in the ceiling, defenders would rain down everything: arrows, giant rocks, even boiling oil. The steps inside were steep, they were uneven, all designed to make soldiers trip and to completely halt any kind of forward momentum. It was, for all intents and purposes, a perfectly engineered killing machine. Now if, and this is a huge F, by some absolute miracle, a few exhausted soldiers actually managed to crawl their way through that hellscape and stumble out into the light, their ordeal wasn't over, not even close. In fact, they were now in more danger than ever before. Because this was the final trap. From the summit, the defenders had a perfect 360-degree view of everything below. They could see every single movement. But the attackers, crawling out of that tunnel, they were completely exposed, out on high ground with absolutely zero cover. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. And waiting for them up there were massive siege cannons, like the famous Mendatopi, or ram cannon, all perfectly positioned to rain absolute devastation down on any survivors who were dazed, confused, and trapped out in the open. It was the final, brutal checkmate. So you see, this fortress wasn't just about defense. It was a statement. Its very existence was a symbol of incredible power, of total control, and of the sheer ingenuity of the people who built it. Dominating the entire complex is the Chand Minar, the Tower of the Moon. And it's not just a decorative tower, it's a victory tower, a massive landmark you could see for miles and miles, basically broadcasting the power of whoever held this unconquerable piece of rock. So from that bedrock moat to the labyrinth of darkness to the exposed kill zones at the very top, every single piece of this puzzle worked together for one singular reason: to be completely and totally impregnable. It really is a timeless masterclass in military architecture. Which leaves us with a pretty big question, doesn't it? Is a fortress like this the ultimate expression of strategic brilliance? Or is it a monument to just brutal paranoia? What does the need to build something so impossible to defeat really tell us about the nature of power itself?